don't know what it is. I mean, these people just have absolutely no awareness at all.
That was a bonus.
Yeah.
Yes. Free Luigi.
When they don't do it right. And they've had a long time to get this righter. It was always going to be bad. All of these were always going to be bad. And they always seem to be the worst they ever possibly.
To Bill Burr, you know, dude, you might want to be quiet at this moment in time, especially given all the revelations about California and the Palisades fire. Now, guys, this right here obviously went viral like over a week ago. Bill Burr on Jimmy Kimmel talking about how it is that everybody was doing a good job. And I'm here to tell you guys right now, the firefighters, the law enforcement, those who are actually on the ground trying to rescue people, I'm pretty sure that they are doing their absolute best at this moment in time. However, looking at the overall state itself, even Bill Maher, who went on TMZ, acknowledged that, the state of California, the way they handle this, the fact that just about everything in the world could have been avoided as far as, maybe cleaning up the forestry. That right there is number one. Maybe taking care of the homeless issue because, homeless people, about 95% of these fires typically tend to start, they're man-made. Homeless people out there on the street want to keep warm at night, so obviously they're going to burn stuff. There's just all kinds of things here that, quite frankly, made this situation, let's just say, what it is. Now, some out there have accused Bill Burr of selling out to the Democrats, and I understand where these guys are coming from, and I understand their arguments, but here's the thing. I don't think it's so much that. I think it's the fact that Bill has been leaning more and more left since he married a black liberal, which tells me that Bill Burr's real problem is that he's probably pussy whooped. I just figured I'd point that out before we go any further. Now, guys, real quick, before we get started, make sure you guys please cut the notifications on for the channel. Please hit the like button so that way the video will go ahead and go up the algorithm. Also, something else, too, I want to go ahead and say this really quick. You guys can follow me on Facebook. You guys can follow me on Twitter. And I need to give you guys a very, very quick update at this moment in time. Just feel like I need to just go ahead and kind of say this before we get started. There's probably going to be content out next week. I'll give you guys a couple of updates at the very end of the video. But as far as this week is concerned, or at least tomorrow, you may see a bit of a scale back. Like you may only see one video come out tomorrow. Reason why is because, as you guys can probably tell, I feel like absolute crap. I woke up this morning, my throat was bothering me. Headache, temperature elevated, that type of stuff there. I got surgery next week, but still at the same time, not exactly feeling too good. I typically tend to get this kind of a mini virus at the first of the year. As also to go on top of that, also a fever blister, cold sore, stuff like that there. I feel like absolute crap right now. So we shall see come later on today how about content tomorrow. But let me go ahead and get back on track. So this video here, for the most part, is about the lack of self-awareness out of these people. Speaking of self-awareness, I found this little bit right here from Megyn Kelly to be absolutely hilarious. She was at Trump's inaugural rally last night, and I just thought this right here was hilarious, given the irony.
Speaking of J-Lo, how happy are you that her candidate lost? It's so delightful. These Hollywood celebrities who get up there and try to tell us how to vote, really? I mean, like those celebrities who know nothing about anything. All J-Lo knows about what to do is to ruin marriages. She's an expert at that. Why does she have to try to ruin the country too? So goodbye, J-Lo. It didn't work out for you.
Which is also funny too, because Ben Affleck's house burnt to the ground, and Ben Affleck was forced to move in with his ex-wife. The ex-wife he moved in with was Jennifer Gardner, not Jennifer Lopez, just saying. So yeah, even her exes could see that this guy is obviously toxic. Same thing about Taylor Swift too. I mean, she writes so many songs about her terrible relationships, just god-awful relationships. She writes so many songs about them, but yet they want to lecture us on politics. Look, the point is this right here. Bill Maher, he come out, and you guys, we'll get to Bill Maher in a second. He basically came out and at least was willing to criticize the Democratic Party, at least criticize the Democrats in power in the state of California, to say, look, things have got to change. You got to use some more common sense measures. You can't just scream orange man bad every chance you get. Also, given the fact that the state is actually going out of its way to Trump-proof it, another lawsuit actively suing Trump right now, and he's not even president, at least not until the time that I've recorded this video. But the point is this right here. These people don't have their priorities straight, and you wonder why it is that so many people are roasting Bill at this moment in time. But speaking of Bill, what exactly was said? Well, here you go.
Had to evacuate your home.
Yes, like most people I had to. I got lucky, the winds moved, but, the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh, my God. All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean? And then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in L.A. sitting there in his underwear. You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
Well, gee, Bill, guys on the internet could point out that the forestry is a problem in the state of California. People on the internet could point out the fact that the homeless is an issue. I did talk about this earlier, about how it is that about 95% of those fires are man-made. I'm pretty sure that people on the internet could point out how it is that California completely screwed up their reservoir system to where they have no actual water. I'm pretty sure guys on the internet could say, hey, look, maybe you might want to keep the storm water, which of course they had an opportunity to do so, but chose not to keep. They could have used that with the fire. I'm pretty sure that people on the internet could have pointed out the fact that it probably was not a good idea to kick out a bunch of firemen who just simply refused to take the poke, which you probably did take. I'm pretty sure it doesn't take a guy. I'm pretty sure a guy on the internet could point out the fact that $17.6 million that was cut out of the fire department's budget, I'm pretty sure that could have been used to help out with this situation, at least as far as fire rescue and prevention is concerned. Look, LA, Southern California, they have fire seasons. It's bound to happen, but still at the same time, to go on top of this here, you can prevent a lot of this stuff and you can keep the fires from getting completely out of control. And because these people had these very stupid measures, all this CG crap, of course I got to say it that way because of the YouTube algorithm, the Palisades area of Los Angeles is pretty much burnt to the ground. And as of recording this video, there's only about maybe a third of the fire is even contained. And then to go on top of that there, not only is that what's going on at this moment in time, but of course you've got Hollywood celebrities like Bill Burr who love to come out here and tell us how great they are, tell us how stupid we are, running their mouth being completely, totally unaware. Meanwhile, the entire system around them completely burns to the ground. Quite ironic. But I did mention Bill Maher. Well, Bill Maher went to TMZ the other day, and of course there's going to be a header on some of this right here because guess what? TMZ's bad for copyright. And he was at least willing to call out the people who've been screwing things up.
Took a lot of heat. I'm with the people who want to hold politicians accountable. We shouldn't talk about it now. It's so funny to hear that coming out of the mouths of liberals because they hate it when conservatives say that after a gun tragedy, which is what conservatives always say after a mass shooting. This is not the time to politicize it, and then it never is. It is absolutely the time to talk about it. This is what my editorial is about Friday night on the show. Was it always going to be bad? Of course. Their arguments are not wrong. We built the city in a terrible place to build a city. Global warming absolutely does make hot stuff and weather worse. Winds were ridiculous. Yeah, I get all that. And they also made a lot of errors. And if you held Bush accountable for Katrina and thought Rudy Giuliani was an idiot for putting the command center in the World Trade Center, which is the place they attacked for and were most likely to attack again, which he was, well, then you have to have some intellectual honesty and criticize your team when they don't do it right. And they've had a long time to get this righter. It was always going to be bad. All of these were always going to be bad, and they always seem to be.
Now, guys, real quick, there's a lot there that I do, in fact, disagree with Bill on. However, he is correct about one thing. He's correct about being honest. He's correct about fixing the problem. He's correct about you have to look in the mirror. That's at least what I took out of that. Now, of course, Bill would eventually go on his show this past Friday night, and of course, he would talk about this issue a little bit further. But the thing is this right here. Bill, and I've said this on several occasions, and I'll continue to say this about Bill, he's really coping with the environment that he helped to create. You see, the left's biggest problem is the fact that these people don't believe in any form of personal self-accountability, which is exactly why it is these people are in the situation that they're in. Look, Gavin Newsom, when this whole thing started, Anderson Cooper, one of the first things he asked him about Trump. Meanwhile, everything is burning down around him. But then you get this here, once again, completely, totally unaware of what's actually going on.
Ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today.
With water, obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other.
The world is burning down around me. My state is burning down around me. People are dying, but let us blame Trump, even though Trump is not in office. Wild. So basically, it's a local problem. Now, guys, I'm very much a proponent of state and local government, but when the state puts such extremely high regulations on something as simple as water, yeah, it makes me think to myself, you kind of did this right here to yourself. So, yeah, great bang-up job there, Gavin. Look, there's going to be a video on the Palisades fire on my third channel when I create it later on this year. And the Palisades fire is probably going to be one of the first videos that comes out. It's going to be a pretty long video, too, because there is a lot that went wrong with this situation. A lot to investigate in is basically what I'm trying to say. And by the way, the regulation is going to make things 10 times worse than what they already are. I'll link Adam Carolla's bit in the description box that he did shortly after the fires began. He was in a hotel. He talked about this. He was talking about Bill Maher in particular. And basically what he was discussing the fact that Bill had this issue where he wanted to put solar panels on his home. He couldn't do it. Roughly 1,000 days because of the regulations. Imagine what happens when all these Hollywood starlets come back and try to rebuild their homes. As I said in my video on this, the one video I have done on this topic, as I said at the very end, these people are going to be asking for bailout money, yet not being aware of their own failures, and they're going to beg for that bailout money, yet at the same time, that bailout money is probably going to come with some form of conditions, which it should. And then you go on top of that, you've also got a lot of these Hollywood actors who are not going to pay a dime, who, by the way, are multimillionaires, to fix the problem. Like I said, if you just pulled together some of your money, you could rebuild the Palisades area. But like I said, these people don't have any awareness or any self-awareness. And, yeah, they're just going to want to freeload off the governor, the taxpayer here soon. So, yeah, go ahead and get ready for it. But speaking of Bill's bit, he had a conversation with L.A. Democrat mayoral candidate from 2022, Rick Caruso. Now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you live in Chicago, if you live in New York, if you live in L.A., chances are you're probably never going to get a Republican elected, okay? You may get some moderate to conservative Democrats who've got a little bit more common sense than the leftoid loons, but this right is probably the best you're going to get. Just going ahead and saying it right now, it's probably going to be the best that you're going to get at this moment in time. That was how hyperpolarized we are. But let us go ahead and get to that bit.
So, I mean, the big controversy here is, could it have gone better? I say yes.
Could have what have gone better?
Handling the fire.
Oh, of course.
Okay, well, there's lots of people who say, look, I don't want to step on my editorial at the end of the show, which is what this is about.
Yeah.
But that's my view, is that is fire bad? Yes. And is it inevitable out here? Yes, it is.
Right.
But I do think we could have been done better. I mean, I know that's your point of view. Tell me what you would have done.
Well, let me just to put it in context for a minute. I was very fortunate as a young man. I was a commissioner with Tom Bradley, worked for him. I worked for Dick Reardon, and I worked for Jimmy Hahn. For Tom Bradley and Dick Reardon, I was the head of the Department of Water and Power. So I know a little bit about the water and power issue here. I also know a lot about what good leadership looks like. Those three were good leaders. To know there's a fire coming, to know you're in fire season. We had a fire 3 weeks ago in Malibu.
Yeah.
6 years ago, we had a fire in Brentwood. And for those that don't know the Brentwood area, it's 15 minutes from where the Palisades fire was. There's 40-year-old vegetation between Brentwood and the Palisades. And at that time, I said, if that fire travels, it's going to come through and wipe out.
Well, duh. I mean, you had Joe Rogan saying that. He said that he had talked to firemen, and they had told him that, look, all you need is just the wind to come through and catch it just right. You had that issue. Also, to go on top of that, you had Trump say it a while back as well. It's basically like saying, well, who the hell did not see this coming? Everything that California has done, and I understand that certain areas are more prone to fires, but everything the state of California has done as far as regulation is concerned has made matters worse. Look, a fire starts. Yes, fires are bad. It's a very, very big fire, but the regulations that they put in place can make it hard to put said fire out or contain it. So, yeah, in a lot of ways, this issue is getting a lot worse because of their own incompetence. I just figured I'd point that out before I go any further. But once again, as you guys are going to see here, Orange Man bad.
I'm so sad that I was right. It was predictable, Bill. What's predictable is preventable. And then on top of it, to have a main reservoir out of service during peak fire season?
Yeah.
I mean, that's border negligence. And so we've got to get to the backstory of this. But you've got to make good business decisions. Running this city is running a business for the benefit of the residents. And what everybody should have been saying, we had all the alerts about the firestorm coming in or the winds coming in. Why wasn't more done? Why didn't we make sure the reservoirs were all topped off? You should never run out of water.
You mentioned the vegetation.
Yeah, once again, completely, totally preventable. But like I said before, Orange Man bad.
When we had a fire when Trump was president, and he came in and he said, "You don't rake. You're not raking." And I did. We all did jokes about it. But you know, we got to get over this thing. Is he wrong usually? Yeah. But I'm not going to. I remember when he took ivermectin or something, and then ivermectin, which won the Nobel Prize.
Right.
And nobody, it was like, that became snake oil? No. Yeah. Just because Trump says it doesn't mean it's automatically wrong. Did he have a point about that we don't?
Of course he did.
Okay.
Which is another reason why I'm very, very much in favor of saying, yes, this right here has to be conditional. And while you're at it, maybe you should contact your Hollywood starlets who live in that area to pay for the damage. I mean, people in North Carolina have still yet to get their payment or any assistance from Hurricane Helene. Same thing with people in Alabama. Same thing with people in northwestern Georgia and people in Florida. Just saying that, yeah, this situation that happened over here on the East Coast wasn't preventable, but the situation that occurred on your coast was, in fact, preventable. Look, these people cannot get out of their own way. And it's part of the reason why it is that I believe that these people are so doomed to fail, okay? The question then becomes, well, are they going to drag the rest of the world down with them? Well, they definitely want to do so, but the good news is that a lot of people are, in fact, waking up and they're walking away from that. If you can get the hell out of California, I would get out of California. If you can't, I understand the situation. I understand that Gavin and Democrat Party politicians have made it much, much harder for you to get away from them. Still, though, at the same time, I think it's doomed to fail because, yeah, as you guys can obviously see, these people can't get out of their own way. There's just no the inability to be criticized or the inability to learn from being criticized. That right there is what we're dealing with here. No accountability. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have got to say. But I forgot there are a couple of quick updates, so let me go ahead and get to those. Some of the videos that I've been working on, like, say, for example, the one that I was working on when it comes to the OF thing, that video is probably going to come out next week. The video about Superman, what happens to Hollywood, that's probably going to come out next week. We're going to make those videos this week. I haven't been able to get them done, but hopefully I'll feel a lot better tomorrow, or at least I'll feel better throughout the day. I woke up sick, guys. I don't know what the hell is going on. But then again, I also woke up yesterday a little bit on the mucked up side as well. And as I said, I'm going to be having surgery next Tuesday, so I'm probably not going to be here any part of the week. Normally, the previous surgeries, I'd go in, get operated on, and I'd be right back home the very, very next afternoon. I'd take like an additional day. This time around, it looks like I'm going to be going in on Tuesday morning, getting operated on, getting up late in Tuesday afternoon, but probably be in the hospital for Wednesday and Thursday, maybe even Friday. I'm not entirely sure. Either way, though, I'm going to try to have at least 3 or 4 videos out next week. There's also another video that I have planned as well about should the right drop Andrew Tate. That right there is also going to be coming out next week too. So make sure you guys stick around for all that. I'm going to try to have at least 3 or 4 videos out for those days that I'm actually going to be out. Still, though, at the same time, though, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say, and I'll see you guys later.